Fans of Manchester United and Liverpool would be cheering for their respective teams at the top of their voices at Old Trafford as the eternal rivals face each other for the first time in the 2022-23 English Premier League season. Both teams have had a patchy start to this season. Erik Ten Hag has lost his first two matches in the season to mid-table clubs like Brighton and Brentford, and Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool have failed to register a win in their first two matches, and this has happened for the first time since the German has taken charge of the Reds. Hello and welcome to Newsline Special Show. I am Newsline football analyst Hardik Agrawal, and I have with me Newsline sports editor Sandeep Mishra to talk about the upcoming big clash between Manchester United and Liverpool at 12:30 am tonight. Sandeep, United has had a dreadful start to the season. They have lost both of their first two games. First against Brighton at home 2-1. Then a 0-4 humiliating loss at Brentford. Such a disappointing start. They have not been good at defense, neither at attack. It has been a disarray for the Red Devils.
No, I'm more intrigued by what you started off saying, that this is a big clash. I don't know how many of them actually consider this a big clash, but yeah, I mean, today is probably that one game that I know it's too early to say it. It's too early in the season for every team out there. But somehow you get this feeling that a lot depends in the future, or when you look at the future, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line for United. I think today probably decides a lot for them. It decides the way the teams line up. And yeah, I guess you still don't have the lineup, or nobody has the lineup. But yeah, we can still go ahead with what kind of a lineup do they have. But coming back to what some of the greats, or probably just one great called Wayne Rooney, said, that Ronaldo should be left out. But I don't know what you feel about it, whether Ronaldo plays or doesn't play.
If Martial is back in the squad and he is not a doubtful, then he could start, because he played really well in the pre-season, and Martial, Rashford and Sancho collaborated and combined really well. So it would be good to see the front three, but I doubt that Erik Ten Hag will start Martial, considering he is coming off an injury. He might come in the second half, and subbing benching Ronaldo would be a bold move, and I think that he will start Ronaldo because Ronaldo is the man of big occasion and he can deliver against Liverpool.
But do you think that they can start Ronaldo and Martial? You think that's because I'm the only reason I'm saying this is simply because that if you really look at the records, and whenever he has started, Martial especially, you know, his dribble, his everything, the way he cuts in, especially into the, you know,
from
box,
the left flank.
Yeah. I think that creates a lot of issues for defenses, and for a team like Liverpool that has conceded early on, I think the more pressure and more high press coming in from United initially, I think that might kind of change the tide. But one doesn't know, because the counter-attacking abilities of Liverpool are
mind-blowing.
So it's a catch-22 situation in so many ways that, you know, you have fans who are virtually saying that third consecutive defeat. I don't buy that argument, honestly. But, well, it'll be interesting to understand what you feel about how they should go about in the midfield, because I think the game is going to be won and lost there.
In midfield.
Yeah, that's where I think it's going to be won and lost.
Erik Ten Hag prefers 4-3-3, no doubt about that. He tried that against Brentford with Fred in the central defensive midfield role. But the team failed miserably. Eriksen had to come back and support the team during the build-up stages. And we saw what happened to Eriksen when United conceded the second goal against Brentford. He succumbed to the press of the bees, and eventually they conceded. So Eriksen is a good creative midfielder, but he can't resist the pressure. So at a central defensive midfield role, I think that he should go with the partnership of McFred until unless Casemiro joins in. Casemiro could be arriving in the next match, as he has just signed for Liverpool for United. So I feel that they should go with 4-2-3-1 with two in the central defensive midfield role, and either Eriksen or Fernandes starting in the cam position. And if Martial is good to go, then Martial in the left wing, and in the right wing, Rashford or Sancho. Sancho looks subdued. He hasn't taken a single shot in the first two matches of the season. Rashford is still a little better on the right flank. So 4-2-3-1 would be a good way to go about it. But what about defense, Sandeep? Harry Maguire.
Yeah, Maguire is a big question mark constantly, but somehow, I think he's made out to be a much worse than what he really is.
Yeah.
The word worse, I think, is slightly going, completely right.
I would agree to you.
But there was a point you were making early on about Malaysia. I think that's a position that's going to be extremely key. Looking at Salah, as you said, the run-ins coming in, the fast counter-attacking. You need somebody who has pace, who has speed, and who can easily fall back. Fall back is a massive problem when you are actually encountering the top 3, the top 4 of the Liverpool forwards. And I think that's where that structure, if United keep their structure constant, if they keep that structure going for the first half without conceding, I think you still have a game out there. 2 down, 1 down. 1 down, you can still feel that United can shake off the demons, that, okay, we're going to be losing again. Throw that away. But 2 down is going to be a big problem. Though I don't see it, honestly. And we can come to the predictions later on and what will happen. But yeah, it's the structure. I think if they can maintain that structure, which actually
on defensive transitions, especially.
Everywhere, honestly, everywhere. I mean, it went chaotic against Brentford. It was just, there was no United team there, honestly. I mean, when you use that word United, they were not. This was a bunch of individuals trying to figure out what to do today.
Yeah.
And you were playing against a team, against a coach who knows how to play, who understands positional play so well, even though they may have lost their last game. But I think that's where everything is going to come around. And believe me, more than Ten Hag, Klopp is under pressure.
Yeah. It has happened for the first time in Klopp's era that he hasn't been able to win the first 2 matches of the season. And talking about the visitors, Sandeep, they are coming into this after 2 draws. First against Fulham, 2-2 draw, then against Crystal Palace, in which they were down to 10 men. Still, they scored a goal with the help of that Luis Diaz screamer. Also talking about Nunes, the new signing, he won't be up there in the strike position. He made a reckless decision against Crystal Palace, he did a headbutt against Anderson against Crystal Palace, and he was sent off. How big can it cost to Klopp of not having Nunes in the squad today?
I think the main thing is that Nunes is number one, was a big signing.
Yeah.
He comes into a position where it's very crucial for Liverpool. But having said that, it's a team in transition right now. I mean, all said and done, Sadio moving over to Bayern Munich. I'm not saying it's cost them. Every team has a transition like this. Every team sees a big player going off and on. But I think this is where the team is still not assembled completely. I think it's going to take 6, 7, 8 games for this team to come together.
Right.
Elliott is one, who's coming in from a massive injury and he didn't play for a large part of the season.
Last time.
For him to come in, and I think these are the positions that Ten Hag is going to target. He's going to target certain players. He's going to push on those positions pretty hard. Whether he pushes first half or whether he pushes second half is the big question mark. And how he goes, I don't know if he's going to go wide. I don't believe United can attack through the middle at this moment of time. Because what you see is Eriksen being in double mind. Should I go up? Should I fall back? Should I go up? Should I fall back? For me, honestly, he's brilliant when he creates. He's brilliant when he's distributing a ball. But to see him in the last game, or to watch him, trying to understand what to do in those kind of positions was pretty terrible. That's not the Eriksen you see. But I think it's a game of 2 halves. Which coach or which team controls it, keeps it 0-0, I think that's going to decide a large part of what will happen in the second.
Yeah. And United have had a better record against their fierce rivals. They have won 81 times, whereas Liverpool has won it 70 times. But in recent times, as we have seen that Liverpool have been a much more dominant side. In the last 2 matches last season, they won 5-0 at Old Trafford and 4-0 at Anfield. And United haven't won against their bitter rivals since March 2018. So it's going to be a big ask tonight. But also looking at the formation of Liverpool, they will be mostly starting in 4-3-3 with Arnold and Robertson firing all crosses from the flanks, coming up high upfield. As you mentioned, Elliott, Fabinho and Henderson in the midfield region.
Yeah.
Gomez and Dijk could be placed in the centre-back partnership with Alisson in the goal line. And as Nunes is not there, their their relied striker Firmino will be in the number 9 position with Salah and Diaz on either flanks.
But
So
I mean, do you really believe, or do you not believe, but do you really feel that Salah is back into his groove, which he's been constantly showing? I think it seems a little heavy-legged. I think he seems a little bit inconsistent when on the runs. Otherwise, the amount of chances they have created, I mean, very few teams have created those kind of chances that Liverpool has. I mean, they have failed to score, not failed to score, but they have got very few chances to score from 31 open ones.
Yeah.
So I think that's where probably a lot of stuff lies today, or probably answers lie for United in that sense. If they can cover up those angles, if they can somehow bottle Firmino, if they can somehow bottle Salah today. But that would also mean that if you want to bottle players of those kind of pace and speed, that would also mean that a lot of space also gets yielded. You got two players who are constantly on them, which means that you reduce to virtually 8 or 7 to attack, create, and also defend. So
we all know what Salah did last time around. He scored a fabulous hat-trick, and this time I was reading somewhere that he has acquired another trait. He has been good with his right foot as well. Now, that's what Klopp has suggested before the game, that Salah is a very good professional. He keeps on improving himself. And even Salah has told the media that he takes care of small details, food, diet, drinks, and small details in the game as well. Now, his right foot is also improving. So, we could see Salah at his maximum against United, no doubt about that. But the question remains that will United be able to cover the pace of Salah? Will Malacia or Shaw be able to deal with the pace of Salah? So do you think that Malacia should start instead of Shaw?
No, I think so. I don't think Luke can take care of Salah, not at all. Especially after those last two games. You need somebody who has pace. You need somebody who can fall back. You need somebody who can cover up spaces that Salah creates actually inside the box also. Interestingly, the way you speak about the left and the right foot, if he's going to be cutting in and then cutting back in, which he does so many times, then you see the lethal right foot coming in. Otherwise, he's going to take his lefts, and then it's the corner of the net. Then it comes down to, again, the question that we haven't yet raised is the great one on the United goalkeeper. What do you do about that?
That was there.
Yeah. I don't think they have any options there.
But Wayne Rooney has said that he shouldn't start today.
Yeah, he very clearly said Ronaldo and our friend should not start at all.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the shocking part is what happened in the last game. I mean, what do you do, when a goalkeeper, when he starts building up himself, which is not done. I mean, you could see Ten Hag, the expression on his face. I mean, who said this to you? That's what his expression was saying. Did I say to do this? And then when you have a press conference where Ten Hag says that, well, I could have easily said 8 players should be sitting on the bench from this team. Then you have very less options. But I still say again, and I don't know if you want to agree with this or not, but I still say today is a very different game. Today is not a Premier League game. Listen, City almost lost. Okay, these guys of Liverpool have already dropped points. Except Arsenal, nobody is there gaining. So at the end of the day, I think by the end of this week, or probably by the end of next week, you're probably going to see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that order, all having 1 or 2 points here and there, which is really not too much for any team.
It's going to be highly competitive this time around. That
absolutely. And then you go into the middle of the season, even if you are apart from 3 or 4 points, that's like 1 defeat, 2 draws, or 1 win or 2 draws, somewhere or the other. I think today, again, it's more about whether Ten Hag can bring the team together. He's not really worried about the result. Of course, a win is going to really, build up something in that team. This team is not by any standards a substandard team. There is no way you can call a Manchester United substandard. It's just that that's how it has happened over the years. And believe me, Klopp is in the same position right now. I think not because it's a transition team, but also Klopp, like all coaches, feels the weariness that comes from having dominated for 4 seasons. Even though you may not be winning the Premier League in that sense, that you're dividing it with City, but you won the Champions, you won the PL, you've basically dominated as a coach and and bringing up this super band of players. I think he's probably feeling that. Otherwise, these 2 draws, I think, point to that. Today is a great chance for a 2-1 United.
But also talking about Erik ten Hag, there were huge expectations from the Dutch manager. But he has shown confidence. He has stated that I'm here for the club and to restore the club. And knew before that this is a challenge and I wanted this challenge. I knew before it was going to be hard, but I wanted that because in my career, everywhere I started, the start was difficult, but I get it done afterwards. And I'm convinced I will get it done here as well.
I think no, you can't even say that's diplomatic because that's a great answer to give for any coach. But what can he do at this moment of time? I mean, he has to have confidence not only in himself but in the players. You can't change this whole. How many days left for the window? 9 days, 10
9
days.
yeah.
How many players can you change? You can't, and he has to build from here. I think looking at whatever he's done in the past with Ajax, and he's created some good teams. You can say anything about the Dutch league or whatever, but at the end of the day, a team has to win a league.
But he took the Ajax team to the Champions League semi-final.
That's what I'm saying. You still have to win. You still have to be at the top. You still have to bring together a band of players to be able to produce something out there. I think it's too early, for one, and too early as a coach to even understand situations. He has been parachuted right into the middle. He knew what was happening, but he never knew it's going to be this bad. Or maybe whatever he tried to do in that last game probably didn't work out. So as a coach, he's going to change things around. And today, parking the bus is probably extreme. I don't think he's going to park the bus at all. But he will have a very solid defense line out there for sure.
It's going to be a pretty balanced game.
Yeah, it will be. They'll try and keep Liverpool away. And Salah, last 6 to 7 years, whenever the first half has not really gone his way, he has struggled. And you can see it on Klopp's face also. By the time the match hits the 70th minute and Salah has not scored or he has missed 3 or 4 or 5 chances, Klopp's mind is always racing. And he said this in an interview 3 years back, that if a forward is not scoring till the 70th minute, the pressure comes on to the forward. The pressure comes on to the coach at that point of time. And the defense also knows that they have the measure. I think Ten Hag will want the measure of the Liverpool forwards from his defense line. So today's job is not only Ronaldo's or Martial if he plays. Today's job is that last 4 who are standing there for United, how much they can do.
Right. And if Casemiro would have been signed on time, then he would have joined this team against Liverpool. But interestingly, he is a better pick than Frankie de Jong. I think so.
None of us thought, not even you, not even anyone thought that he was a good pick. Or he wasn't a good pick.
Yeah.
Everybody thought he was the answer.
Yeah.
And now Casemiro has become the answer. So, but I mean, do you agree he is the answer?
Yeah, because in the central defensive midfield role, that was the position that United needed someone. And Frankie de Jong was more of a creative midfielder, and he would have been able to thrive in the attacking situations, not in the defensive situations. But now we have Casemiro. He had 80 yellow cards in his Real Madrid career. So one can imagine that with the intensity and with the physicality that he plays with, he won't allow, the opponents to get past the second line of defense easily. He won't allow them to enter deep into the defensive zone easily, which has happened at United time and time again in the last few years. So Casemiro is certainly a good pick. And before we were talking that he has some startling figures as well compared to Frankie de Jong.
Well, if you look at the tackles, he's got 75 compared to 35. I mean, he's gone through 75 tackles in the last season. His interceptions are 38 when you compare it to 20 on the other side. I think this is what. But again, it's a question. At 30, do you think he's at his best? Do you think he's got a year or 2 years to run on this contract? What do you feel?
But even if he delivers in the next 2 years, and United could even finish in the top 4 or top 3, then it's going to be a good result for a team in transition. And from there, they can pick up and, go along.
I think the way you said it, Casemiro, I mean, more of an interceptor, somebody who's going to destroy moves. I think that's what United needs right now, because the forays and the way other teams are moving through the middle and even on the wings, The question here is that sometimes in the EPL you can see a lot of moves that are going through the middle, but Palace moves through the middle. Even Aston moves through the middle. Even Everton is now moving through the middle.
Yeah.
I think most of the teams are not going wide right now, except for the ones who have got brilliant wingers.
Yeah.
Because then you can stretch, you have the pace and the legs to do that.
City goes out wide. Guardiola prefers out wide.
He would always prefer, because it's a question of keeping the ball.
Yeah.
I think the more you have the ball is a Pep philosophy, the more chances you create. But again, in a hit and run thing where you using speed and skill and all of that, I think a lot of teams in the top 8 are doing that. So Casemiro comes in as this huge balancing act for United.
Yeah.
That okay, if you're going to be taking on a team that's going to attack and attack and attack in the first half, you have the player Casemiro out there who can be the interceptor. And I think at this moment of time, unfortunately not today, but he's going to play the next game for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But without Casemiro, what could be the result tonight for United, for Liverpool?
I think it's as we discussed, it's a match of two halves. I think a 0-0 first half is going to be excellent for United. It's going to be excellent because when they walk into that dressing room 0-0, looking at that Liverpool lineup, looking at what happened in the last 4, looking at what happened in the last season, I think they will probably consider the 0-0 as something that they can build on. Okay. Now, if they can score, nothing like it. They need to stop Liverpool scoring. And the second half is where they throw everything at Liverpool. I think at the end of the day, you can say a 0-0, 1-1, 2-2 draw means sharing points. But if United can pull off a win here somehow in the last 10 minutes by keeping Liverpool away, and I think there is enough space to do that, honestly. They have the team. It's just that how Ten Hag is going to play them in the formation.
How they are going to click tonight.
Yeah, and it's when it comes to formation, I think you are the one who understands formation. So that is where I think all the major aces and the cards and everything is going to fall together.
Right. I believe that it could end in a 1-1 draw. That would be a safe pick as of now because both the teams have had a patchy start to the season and they would be eyeing a win. So they would be putting everything on line. And Ten Hag must be prepared as well after 2 humiliating losses. Klopp would be eyeing the first win as well. And both the teams can share spoils and at Old Trafford tonight. But if Liverpool win tonight, then they will be booking their 4th consecutive win against the Red Devils for the first time since 2002. Let's see what we have in store tonight at 12:30 AM sharp. Thank you, Sandeep. It was really a fun chat. Thank you guys for staying connected with us. That's it from this special show. We'll be back again with more interesting news, insights, facts and figures. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. This is Hardik Agrawal signing off.